Uh, Hello, my dear friends. I hope everybody is doing great. So, here we have a special session for newly qualified chartered accountants. In this session, we are going to understand how you can approach, and the experience will be shared by Madhukar Hiregange sir. I don't want to spend too much of time talking about him on background because I think the name itself is sufficient. You know him the better. So I think let us move ahead. So the session is, sir, you can take over now.
I'm just trying to share, okay?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Choose to share.
Yeah.
Why is it not coming?
On the mid side arrow, you will have on the arrow
I
is,
did put that. Let me see again.
yeah, present now. Then,
No, in this Windows, it's not appearing. That
uh,
okay? Can you share?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you each time, but to change. So in the meantime, congratulations to all the boys and girls who have joined today. You've got past a milestone in your life. But remember, this is just a stepping stone. It's only the first step in today's world. Maybe 30 years back, being a CA was more than enough. You didn't have to do anything more. Today, CA is just one of the many courses, but certainly one which gives you a number of advantages in terms of the experience, I would say, knowledge of industry, which you enjoy when you go through your articles. And also, it is a self study course. Even if you use some tuition or online video, it more or less a self study course. So you know that you can master any subject on this earth. That's the biggest advantage you get after finishing CA. Can you go to the next slide? So today's coverage broadly or sharing, which I will do, this I do in our office for more than 3 hours, but here we will restrict it to 1 hour. Those of you who are interested can mail me directly, and we can possibly take up more discussions on this depending on your convenience and my convenience. So we'll look dream versus self evaluation. Just having a wish or a dream is not enough. You have to evaluate and then set aside time for getting ready to fulfill your dreams. What is the canvas tomorrow? We'll touch on some of the possible job, possibilities. Then we'll look at very important aspect, essential skilling, general essential skilling, and then top skills. What are the courses and certifications which we can do? Application makes the differentiation. So when we come to courses and certification, Chinmaya will tell us more in the data analytics, what sort of tools you need to learn, and which is the future area where there is a huge potential for employment in the technology front. Next, please. One of the things which is very important to do is who is your role model. There were many role models, mainly my father. The first role model was my father, who was very strict with me, and I actually hated him till I was maybe about 25 or so. I felt that he was too strict with me, did not give me what I deserved, and all that. Then I had a lot of teachers, even teachers from St. Michael's Patna. Then the best teacher I had in my life was Father Hedwig de Costa of St. Joseph's Boys High School. There may be some businessmen you look up to, like I look up to Ratan Tata, Jamshed Tata. Like that, I have many businessmen who I feel are really worth looking at. Some businessmen I like for their vision, but may not be for the means they use to reach their goals, like Dhirubhai Ambani or even Mukesh Ambani, I would say, and even the Adani. Gautam Adani also, his vision is fantastic, but maybe the means and the what I would say governance side of of his business has much to be reckoned. But they could be so there can be a person who is your model for certain things. They may not be models for everything. Career professionals, you have seen so many doyens in our profession in the field of who went to the jobs. You are also got many of them leading global organizations. uh, One person with whom I had quite a lot of interaction was Mohandas Pai. Then iconic innovators. This is very important because today innovation is having a premium, whether it is in accountancy or anywhere. How do you automate routine jobs? How do you come up with some packages which can help? For example, we are working with Signet now, an organization which will, over a course of time, be able to give a reply to a show cause notice automatically. Thousands of notices come. Bigger companies in may not be able to track and follow up. So a software which will answer it 90%, 10% it has to be vetted and then it can be sent either by a professional or an in-house company person. Professionals in practice, we have many. I reckon I am also one of the few, one of them, because my practice has been unique in the sense that I have never bribed in my practice till today. And I am in 37th year. Many billionaires like Elon Musk or whoever, I don't know. You may have your own models. Athletes, you may wonder why athletes. Because nobody gets success just like that. Whether it is, Michael Jordan or Curry, Stephen Curry in basketball, anybody, nobody, no athlete gets automatically lucky. They work for it and then they get it. So, top three you can choose and work on them. There is where your differentiation will be very easily. You don't have to flounder all around. For example, if you go to Google and find out, or if any of you have any difficulty, you can send me a mail. I will send you an Excel on that. So the top three strengths and the top three, what I would say, limitations. So limitations you will have to work on to overcome, but strengths are what will differentiate you. Next, please. This is very, very important to differentiate. My story is there. We have less time, so I'll go through quickly. I was in various parts of India, Agra, Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore in between, then again Bihar, Patna, and then in my ninth standard, I came to Bangalore, which was the defining period for me. Till 1975, I had failed in chemistry consistently. I would get 7, 10, I think 12 or 18 was my highest in my life out of 100. But then something happened, and my principal, Hedwig DeCosta, he tried a small experiment, and I topped the school. In the ICSE exam, I got 100 out of 100 in chemistry. So, how was that possible? That was a very big learning for me that if you focus on something sufficiently, you can be the top there. In CA, I failed 4 times. I was not actually fit for CA, but I wanted to be independent, and that's why I went into CA. Today, our firm has more than 100 chartered accountants and advocates. Even now, there is an executive committee meeting, which I have told them that whenever you want to call me, I will come on. And they just called me 10 minutes back. So I told them after 12:30. got acknowledged by Arun Jaitley, who is no longer there. He was then the finance minister for GST contribution in 2017. The same day when Modi gave a slap on the face of all the fixers and the brokers and the midnight workers, especially due to the demonetization, the the way large number of chartered accountants worked overnight to, you know, convert the cash, which was quite sad. Have jointly authored 36 books in indirect taxes. Jointly authored means everything I have not authored. Actually, I have created more than 20 authors. Within the office, I have got about 10. Other 10 are outside. Created 500 committed professional leaders. This was my goal in life from the age of 42. One of the goals in life. Contribution to primary school students who are economically challenged. We take care of around 3,000 children today, give them some basic pride in their uniforms and school bags, notebooks. There they are independent. And also, we take care of some other things for higher education also. There we have helped around 1,000 till today. Ongoing basis, we are helping about 400 people to finish their degree. In ICAI also, I went to the exam committee and did some reforms there. And in Board of Studies, I also was involved in syllabus making in this year, last year, sorry, and was able to get the what I would say alternatives. One paper where you have options. That was my primary contribution to ICAI. I had many more, about 50 contributions are there in exam and syllabus, but I will not look at that. Go to the next one, please. So I have realized after, even my practice was not great till the age of 42. I had a I had written a couple of books, but nothing great actually. If you see, I had a small office. My family was not very happy with my economic levels. I had less time, or I had become very hard, and my children didn't enjoy my company, though I was available all the time. Luckily, I went through a trough, and it made me come up and look at the most important thing which I'd missed in my life, which was goal setting. And goal setting is not just goal setting. First, it starts with why. You have to list down at least 5 to 10 whys, why you want to get that goal, whatever you have put. Then, very important, how you are going to get that goal, by being disciplined, by being patient, by being knowledge hungry, all the emotions which you will get in that matrix which I earlier talked about. What are the attitudes you require, skills you require, will come in the what, and within the time frame you have to do that. So converting a dream into reality is not so easy. Chinmaya himself has gone through, I think, about 10 sessions with me. Finally, he has been able to reach his goal after the 10th session. He must have thought in the first session, by the end of the first session, he will get gyan. But he went through quite a tough time. He can possibly say a few things on that minute or so he can share. Academic self evaluation is very important. If you are very good, I was never very good academically, but I had other skills. I was focused, I was relentless, so I had my own strengths. And finding out what that was very important. Also, here you may have to look at your financial strength to pursue practice or business. You shouldn't get into practice or business blindly unless you have some financial strength, some backup, somebody to support you. Of course, I did all this without any financial strength actually. I had no money, and still I did, but then I had to struggle for at least 10 years of very average normal life. The attitude to deal with failure, I think, is the most important aspect in life. And failure is a method by which you will get success. Start by why, and then you will come to know what not to do and what to do to avoid failure. Attraction to technology has become imperative today. So if you are to say that no, I'm not good in technology, it doesn't work. You have to be good in technology. You have to love technology if you want to be in this profession or in a career which you want to rise and flourish. Next, please. So, which are the areas where you can do? The first one I'm going to leave for Chinmaya first, and the HR training I will leave for him. Surprisingly, the area of marketing, which also actually gets into a little of data analysis and all that big data, how you see it. So you maybe there is some overlap between the first and second, but marketing is a wonderful area for chartered accountants who have just qualified. Fintech companies are at the forefront today, and if you look at the top investment sector in the last 5 years in India or outside India, it will always be finance. So the people who invest in companies ensure that they have minimum 50% of their exposure in finance, whether it's banks, financial institutions, whether it is like insurance. PB fintech is there. Then you have large number of companies which are focusing on wealth management, investment management. E-commerce, I'm not going to talk much about because I think you people use e-commerce, every day. And the new areas where there is a lot of work, a lot of money being spent is the energy, renewable energy side, solar, wind, etc. And of course, the medical side. Though you may not become a doctor, but there are large amounts of service which can be provided in running of hospitals. In fact, the few hospitals who have not done well in India, you know that hospitals and educational institutions are a money churner. They don't do well because they don't focus on financial management, where we are trained to do well. I'm going to ask Chinmaya to talk on the other two for a couple of minutes each, and then we'll go to the next slide.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. First, I'll address from we were talking about the previous point of that having 10 session to set goals and move in that direction. So, I recently come across one small theory called as red car theory, where when you go to interview, the interviewer asks the question, how many red cars did you see today? Obviously, you cannot say how many I don't know. But that was the point of learning, where if you had thought from beginning how many red cars you have to count, obviously you would have been able to answer that question. The question is not important. I'm trying to focus on the approach. So if you know what you want to do or where you want to go, if you set the goal, the chances of you moving in that direction and the chances of the universe being in alignment with your support is much higher. The, and I would not say chance, I think you will end up actually doing what you want to do. So that is what I have found by having session with Madhukar sir. I hope you also think on those directions as you set the goal or at least have a direction in which you want to go, and things will fall into that place. Now, as far as the career is concerned, a CA, I would not say it is end of the goal. I would say it is just the beginning of your career. Of course, you should enjoy. You have completed one of the toughest course, one of the difficult course, and with that, you should only to tell yourself you are capable of solving and moving ahead of difficult things. So don't take rest at this point, because this is the point where now you have to move at a rapid pace, because the world is also getting changed at a rapid pace. So coming to the data analytics part, some people we use the word big data, data scientist, data admin, things on those lines. They are definitely a lucrative career, but the biggest advantage you as a CA have is you know how those numbers speaks. It is not just about, oh, there is an issue in revenue reporting. If revenue reporting is a problem, then GST returns are going to be a problem, then valuation is going to be a problem, and merger will also be affected in the way. And ultimately, all financial statements are based on the various internal control in the system. So knowing the data points will help you interpret better, and you are in a better position to make use of it. And as sir was telling about the technology part, I would say there are only two kinds of business will thrive in the future. One is technology business, other is technology enabled business. So I believe there is no other way for the third part. And also one more question we do ask is, does technology replace the humans? I would not completely agree and I would not completely disagree. I will put across like this. Probably would have heard this also. Technology will replace the people who don't use technology. So that is the answer for you, in my opinion. Make use of technology wherever available. Coming to data analytics, there are various courses available. I think the biggest institution in the world is YouTube. If you use it properly, both kind of content is available. There are so many relevant free content available to, you can go and search data analytics, you will get lot more. If I tell you basic what you can do as a CA, focus on Excel. There is something called as Power BI, which is coming as a great tool where you can present the data in a graphical manner, diagrammatic manner, where everybody can connect faster. So Excel, Power BI, and also Power Query, where a lot of uh, manual activities can be automated. And if you can learn a little bit of SQL, where you can get the data, how to arrange, how to make a pivot table in SQL, that also will help you there. But keep it in mind, these are all the tools available. Ultimately, what is important is the human. And again, common question we get is, does artificial intelligence, chat GPT will take over humans? Again, my simple answer is this: the technology is amazing, but it cannot take accountability that only a human can take. So it can give a diagnosis and give the answer, but still doctor has to made responsible. So data analysis, use the tools, but more importantly, you have to know how to make use of it. Be it especially in the industry like e-commerce, where every data point is captured, which one you are searching, what is your interest. I am also being part of one project called as clustering. So if somebody searches on website about a particular product, and we are trying to understand, predict what could be the next possible uh, relevant product for him. And in fact, this is not new. If you take a company like Asian Paints, who have installed supercomputer in their system in the year 1970s, forget about the latest years, because they believe in data of the consumer behavior, and accordingly they supply the paints to the distributor. So the distributor don't have to have too much of inventory, they can do just in time, so that whatever the usage, accordingly they can have the inventory, where their profitability is also maximized. Lot of points getting supported over there. So as far as data analytics is concerned, there are SQL tools. There are you can also learn Python, where data analysis wise lot of things can be done automated, where Excel has a limitation, Python can run larger data points. And as far as the education is concerned, I think you have known the best, because you have gone through the so many levels where you have learned more, you have learned theoretically as well as practically. And education need not be just limited to this year course. It can be even going to the colleges. There are a lot of colleges offering you the places. You can be a visiting faculty there. You can develop content, and lot of financial education content being used, and you can also be participant over there. And of course, you can also teach CA students. But only point I would recommend is, uh, in this point in time, try to choose which area is where you are interested in, and try to spend more time over there. So that would be from my side, sir. So you can
Yeah.
take it over.
Chinmaya, if I am, see, I have heard about Bard and Chat GPT and all. Is there anything I can do, any course, any tool I can learn, whereby I can do this in a much better way? Today, I just go to Chat GPT, put some content, and, I am generally not satisfied with the results. I will do little defining, redefining, but finally I'll say it's better I do it myself. So
Okay.
obviously, I am missing something. What is that which all the viewers can learn so that they can, you know, eh, you can extract the best out of this Chat GPT, Bard, Copilot, whatever is there.
Yeah. Again, it ultimately comes down to the experiences side. Now, as far as writing the prompt is concerned, yes, there is something called as prompt engineering, where you learn how to write the instructions, what the steps to follow and all. But there are, if you just do a YouTube search as how to do instructions, how to type prompts in ChatGPT, you will get to know. That is the basic thing. There are like 5-6 pointer, but I would say in very simple words, if you have to teach a person who is having a very blank mind, who don't have any prior knowledge, let's say, how do we teach him? Like, we tell him from step to step basis, and we also give, more importantly, examples. So as such, there is no course available, or there are course available which you can learn, but it's very difficult to choose which one is right, and there are no authentic courses as such. So what I would suggest is, in the area of technology, you take up one, you can do a YouTube search, just watch one video, maybe 15-20 minutes, you will get basic instructions, and then you try learning yourself. The best source is the own learning, is what I would say.
Okay, thanks. We can go to the next slide.
Yes. Yeah.
Many of us who do CA want to be self-employed. We want to make our own name. We want to have fame. At least I wanted both of these. But in the first 14 years of my practice, I had written a book. Maybe I got a little name and fame there, but actually not much. But later, this became the crowning glory of my life. At the age of 42, I stopped thinking about money. Though I did not have money, my office was very small, but shift in the attitude made me look at others beyond me. I decided I will change the law of the country, that's the indirect tax law of the country. I will create 50 leaders at that time. Now I've created more than 500. I will take care of underprivileged. At that time, I had said 50. Now we have 3,000. So self-employment is something which many people yearn for because of economic needs. Some of us may go to a career, or some of us may be able to sustain ourselves by taking loans. That's what I did. Got into practice directly, and but it was not that easy for me because there were no financial, uh, you know, sources for me who could support me. But many of us would have that financial support, especially in this day. And if so, self-employment, even if it takes 2-3 years to settle down in the area which you have chosen, you could still do that. The number of areas which have opened up now is something amazing. I'm going to touch on some of them. See, finally, accounting is losing significance, but even today, global accounting is, the main backdrop for the Accentures, the Infosys, the Wipros, Mahindra, all of them, TCS. Accounting in different ways, not only the basic accounting, different ways, is an area which is very, very big. Over a period of time, it is getting automated more and more, but the quantum is huge because the world is not going to do accounting. They are not going to do MIS. And that's the area where all of us can be. The KPOs, if you can take over the entire accounting department, then the world is your, that is available to you to serve. The also part outsourcing, when you look at outsourcing, it's not only accounts, there are other basic things like HR, which is a headache. And these are areas of quite lucrative, I would say. Tax filing itself, like IT tax filing, GST tax filing, it need not be only in India. Remember, now I remember about 15 years back when I'd gone to a small place, which is the hometown of Chinmaya, Sirsi. When I had gone there, I always used to meet the chartered accountants. So they were complaining about not getting assistants and having to move to Bangalore. And I told them, why you want to move to Bangalore when you have good bandwidth Why don't you do something in Sirsi? And a couple of them started doing the tax filing for Australia, England, and all. Now they have got, a substantial number of people in Sirsi itself, where the cost is low, especially the girls. They don't want to move out of their place. And if they can be enabled a good job, then a chartered accountant who understands law, the taxation, has to learn that tax of that particular country. Is it very difficult? No. Indian taxation most complicated. Most of the other places, taxation is actually a joke. When I went to UAE in the year 2018, when VAT was supposed to be introduced, I talked about so many things. Finally, when it was introduced, it was so simple, and even today, it's very, very simple. But that compliance will not be understood by the general businessman. So there's where you will come in. The courses other than CA, if you can look at also, now CA is not the ultimate. In fact, ACCA has caught up. Many of the people who can afford, in my view, should not do CA. They should go for ACCA and then go for 2 years of compulsory internship in some other in the area of their interest. That is a voluntary thing, not mandatory. CMA is there, CSA, CS is there, DISA, CISA is there. Other than that, forensics, so many courses are there. So many areas are there where huge employment potential is there, self-service potential is there. Being an entrepreneur itself is good for a CA because they understand already some of the reasons for failure and what is it that clicks. For example, when I used to go for audits, uh, I used to look at what makes the business tick, what makes it get better margins than other businesses. These were my attempts to understand, and I think though I took a long time to finish CA, I was able to do a number of audits, small audits, big audits, and audits on behalf of others, which gave me a very good grounding in business as such. Health is another area of huge possibility. Entertainment is $1 trillion industry today. I am not talking about OTT and movies. I am talking about games. They are endless. It's trillion. In fact, when I mentor young chartered accountants who are having difficulty in CA, the first thing I look at is how addicted they are to the games and social media. So I tell them, why don't you choose social media and get into it itself? Drop CA if you enjoy it so much. Don't come into CA. Otherwise, drop the social media and games for the time being till you finish your CA. Of course, all of you have finished CA, but still remember, one of the biggest addictions and diseases in today's world is this itself. Uh, Chinmaya can tell you when we did this mentoring, initially he said, I am doing little of this, little of that. I play some online bridge and something. He can tell you in 1 minute his experience about how much time he saved after he, uh, controlled this particular thing. And he's a chartered accountant who's been working for some time. Chinmaya, 1 minute.
Sure. Sure, sir. Thank you so much. I would connect one concept where you can also connect better. This is called materiality, where individually they are very small. It does not feel big, but if you look at a larger level, even audit wise, you would have seen they are going to have a material impact on overall impact is concerned. So even when I looked at myself, or in system also, mobiles also, there will be something called a screen time. So if you really observe in a day how much time you spend, initially I felt I'm spending minimum time. Like whenever I have a time in the break, I just scroll through it. Then when I looked at overall how much time I'm spending in a day, that was substantial, especially the crucial point of the day where I was supposed to use the time area where I wanted to spend time. I was not focusing on that and it was going wasted without even realizing it. I'm not telling that it should not be done, like you spend your time, but if you do it consciously, I think things will change dramatically, in my opinion. Just look at yourself. how much time you do, and is there a way in which you can allocate the time and you can do things consciously. I think that things would be different.
Yeah, good. Basically, the point is that wherever you focus, you'll get success. In your own life, you would have seen wherever you're focused, whether it's games, for example, for me, it was that chemistry. That gave me that, idea. A subject which I had never passed, I came first in school. So, and also max the ICSE exam, which meant that once you focus, even on something which you think you don't like, then there is no choice but to be successful. Law is another area which is very, very big and very good for chartered accountants. Let me tell you, a chartered accountant lawyer is anytime superior to a lawyer, however good they are, unless they have some other experience. For example, lawyers who become judges, they learn many things and therefore they become good. Otherwise, you look at Harish Salve, he's a chartered accountant lawyer, and his fees are not less than 100 crores. If he wants to take a case, it will be 100 crores. Otherwise, it doesn't take cases. Terribly expensive. And why is he expensive? Because he wants money? No, he has to be expensive, otherwise, he cannot serve. He cannot get time to spend on the cases he does take. Go to the next one, please. All this is based on our attitude and skill. So, the skill which you require for your job of your choice, or whether it's practice, also this is required. The most important skill which I think is there in this world is listening. Most of us don't listen. If you ask your parents today, when you go back, you can just ask individually each of your family members, do I listen? Just ask, do I listen to you? Ask this question, you'll be surprised. In fact, I thought I was a very good listener till one day I went for a workshop conducted by SISI, and one IAM professor was there, Murli, who was saying that most of us don't listen. Then I thought I am the exception when I was here listening to him. Then he said many things about that. When I came home, I asked my eldest daughter, who is normally she is first of all very polite and also quite mature. So at that time, this is many years back, 20, 25 years, 20 years back at least. So when I asked her, she said, Papa, I think you listen to me more than others. That itself gave me an idea. She didn't say, yes, you listen to me. She compared me with others. Then I asked my wife. My wife said, you never listen. She didn't say, you mostly don't listen. She said, you never listen. Then I thought something is wrong, and I wrote an article on listening at that time, which is there on our firm's website in the empowering section. Very, very important, because unless you listen, you cannot know what the boss wants, what the chartered accountant wants, who is your boss, or it could be what the client wants. Nowhere you can get it. Decision making also is very important. You have to be decisive in this profession. You can't have all this, you can do this also, that also. I have seen some opinions given by so-called very big organizations. When you go to the conclusion, you come to know that it's no need to go to them at all, because they'll give you the three possibilities and they'll leave it to you. So it's an issue. So I have to learn to be decisive. All this is possible in Google. You can go and say, how can I be more decisive? Self motivation, very important anywhere. Sometimes when something happens in the job, somebody says something, you may even leave the job. If I'm not mistaken, Chinmaya did that in one job where something happened and he just left the job. And his boss had told me that he is going to be the next, he was a director already in that company. So the point which is there is that you get demotivated very easily. But the only thing in my life I can control is my response to whatever others say, my response to how they behave, not how they behave. If they are able to make me change, then I am like a puppet. Whatever they want, they can get me to do. One more very important area is reading and compression. Reading includes watching videos, educative videos, documentaries, biographies. These are the ones I would recommend, and understanding it. So very, very important. You know that communication, presentation, very important. If you are getting into a job, if you don't have good English, spend 1 year while doing some job in the area where you have interest. Spend 1 year in learning English, become proficient, because your salary will be 20 to 40% more than otherwise. And throughout life your base salary is fixed, then you may not get a big multiplier. Whereas if your base salary itself is say 20 lakhs, then the multiplier becomes very easy. Also, you start at a higher level. The other important thing is, if I have if I have chosen a particular employer, then I should like that employer, even if he is not the perfect person, because you have chosen. And unless you satisfy your employer, you are not going to rise. Same way with client. Whether a client is good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. You focus on the client, because that's what will get you higher. There are many other skills which you can learn. These are just some pointers for you. Next, please. I have got very short time. Uh, what area which I think is very important, and I think that what I did in my practice also, people management was my key. I developed leaders, professional leaders, ethical leaders, committed leaders in my office. And because of which I could go home every day at 5:30 initially, then 6:30. I never stay in office after 6:30. And for the last 4 years, I'm not even going to office. Office runs on its own. When it needs me, it calls me. Initially, I used to go for half a day on Wednesdays, and last, I think, 1.5 years or so, I have not even gone to office. I rarely go. Some very old client who insists I go. I don't do anything also. I am not finalizing reports. I am not doing. Only I am looking at strategic decisions. Quality I am looking at. And of course, when there are some crises, like somebody has been dishonest in my organization, because we have a policy, even if a partner is dishonest, he has to be removed. He has to leave. There's no place to say this is an exception. I did it only once and all. He has to leave. That's it. If it is found. One more point I started with in my 42nd year is service orientation. I looked at serving every place where I want success. For example, in my profession, service is the motto. If you go to the vision of our firm also, H&A and Co. LLP, you will see that there is nothing on billing. Everything is on service and quality. I believe that you can make a difference. If I want to have Tata Group as my clients, all I have to do is serve Tata Group in some way or the other. They may not be known to me. I'll find ways and means of serving them, and within a year or two, Tata Group will call me to make a presentation for doing their work. Now, I have not done this with the Tata Group. I have done this with Government of India, where we were looking at making a change in the law. Always people say the bureaucrats never listen to us. So I went to serve the bureaucrats. I wrote a book for service tax, training them in service tax audit, which is our strength. And there is where we got some, you can say, visibility. Then we wrote a note on unjust enrichment research paper and gave it to them. Then we did a transitional credit. We gave the entire provisions of transitional credit of GST. A group in Bangalore worked on it for about, I think, 3-4 months. Every third day we used to meet, and we gave them a book where we gave the provisions itself. The provisions which you see in GST law, 80% of them are there in the document which was given to them in 2015. We gave that document to them saying these are the transitional provisions you can use. And if you open that particular document, which is there on the institute website, and look at the present GST law, you will see about 60% at least cut, copied, pasted. So that is called service orientation. You want something, serve the person. Don't go and demand something. Don't have entitlement. I am a chartered accountant, I have done DSA, CISA, forensic, therefore I am very competent and therefore you should give me the job or the assignment. Versatility is very, very important. I myself had been a very rigid person till my age of 40, 42. Now I am a versatile person. Nothing, nothing stops me. Technology is still a very big challenge for me, but nothing stops me. If I want, I can become versatile even in that field. One very important skill to enhance is problem solving and critical thinking. None of these skills are God given. I'm going to repeat, none of these skills are God given. If you want, you can just simply put a Google search. How can I improve my critical thinking? How can I improve my common sense? You'll be surprised. Though it says common sense is not so common. So you can put how can I improve my common sense? Google, you'll get 5 ways in which you can do that. Next, please. I think we have only 10 minutes more to cover. Getting certified for jobs. I'm not going to spend time on this again, Google can help you, but first you should know your direction. What we talked about in the starting. And once, how do you come to know which area you should go for? How do you come to know where you are good? There are 2 3 ways in which you can do. One is you can list down your, you can note this down. There are 3 ways in which you can do this. Number one, make a list of all the achievements you have made in life. Spend 1 hour on it, not 10 minutes. You have to reflect and make a comprehensive list of all your achievements in life up to the age of 10, up to the age of 20 and later. Try to be as specific as possible. For example, for me, I'll say I maxed my chemistry paper in my 10th standard board ICSE exam. I will say I captained the basketball team in my college uh, in my final year BCom. So I like this. Each one should be specific. You put down everything and then look, that list can be a list which shows your strength. One more list you can make. What are the times in my life I have been happy, excited, joyous, and list it separately the same way 10, 10, 20, and after 20, 3 bits. Next to both of these separate lists which you have made, also put who are the people who helped you, supported you, shared with you, joined you in the fun and excitement, etc. That right side of each of the items you can write. Now, these 2 lists will give you an idea where all you are having interest, where all you are having strength. If strength and interest can be mixed, you will enjoy every day of your working life or your practice life. I also am enjoying it even today. You can see I'm now 63, but I'm not short of energy. When I mentor people, I tell them I get up at 4:30. They say, What do you do, sir? You don't go to office. What do you do? Why are you getting up at 4:30?" But then when I describe my life to them, they are shocked because I am taking care of my energy level throughout the day, which starts right in the morning. I do meditation, I do, pranayam, I do some exercises because I've got some very bad back. For the last 45 years, I have a very bad back. Uh, and I also do pranayam. Then I do my walking. Then I go for gym once or twice a week. I go and play TT. Many of them are a little challenging for me. TT especially is a little challenging now. I have some problems with it, but I am sure I'm going to overcome it. The point which is very important is that if you do something you love, then whatever you do is a vacation. If somebody asks me why you want to go for do you want to go for a vacation? I'll say, yeah, I think office vacation is the best, so that I can take everybody out. They can play some games, etc. And for me, vacation is office itself. Problem solving is a vacation. Anyway, I have put some courses here just for you to have a look. And some of the tools, I think Chinmay has already told you, like he said, prompt engineering. Then there is something for what is that? Query something. What query is it? Power
Power
query.
query. Yes.
Yeah, like that. There are so many things which are tools which you now you need the tools.
Yeah.
Next, please.
Just to add one small point, if you are interested in stock market, there are don't go for this YouTube private people courses they sell, which in my opinion is not proper. There is an institute called as NISM, National Institute of Stock Market, where they have for every category one certificate. You can try with like, and it costs you like 2,000 3,000 rupees. It costs you not much. So you can try with few courses if you're interested in those areas. And when you're applying those jobs there, those certifications will help you that you have done some job, or more than you what you learn, it will give a indication to the employer that you are serious about your line. That is where you score more than the others. Yes.
Correct. Very important. Extra mile running is very important. In what I have understood, many people say, "Sir, how much time should I spend for what?" I have mentored students for CA, maybe about 200 till date. I have mentored people like Chinmaya, maybe another 100 at least, but it's a much longer exercise than just passing exam is, I think, about 5 10 sessions. But life skills, if we have to look professional skills, if we have to teach, it takes a bit more time, and also depends on what is it that the student or the professional wants. I felt that 20% of your time we have to spend for building a proper or better attitude. Then we already, as chartered accountants, have already got some skills. We may be having skills in Excel up to macros, but then you might like to go to the next level, Python or whatever, data analytics, Power BI, whatever was mentioned by Chinmaya. So your skills certainly are have to be improved. You have some basic knowledge now in almost all the fields which are where you will be employed or you want to get into practice. But everywhere you have to get depth. Most of the people find chartered accountants peripheral in nature, superficial in nature. They don't have depth. Client asks two depth questions, the chartered accountant is floundering. And remember, earlier you could have told something and they wouldn't know. Now, whatever you say on the way back in the car going back to his office, he is verifying through chat GPT what you told. And if it is not, if you don't even know that much, then he will decide, I will never come to Madhukar again, because Madhukar is only below chat GPT level. Well-being is very important. Our own well-being, rest, food, exercise. Chartered accountants, I am shocked that chartered accountants don't do exercise regularly. My exercise is I follow the second wind approach. That means one is in the morning, I told you my regimen, minimum 30 40 minutes of your walking, and also going to gym for 10 15 minutes. In the evening, again, I will go for another walk. Why should I go for a walk in the evening? Is it essential? No. But that part of it, I'll be awake till 10 o'clock. But it will be like, just pulling along, watch some movie or play some games and all that. It's just, I would say, not really focused and enjoying that time. So the evening, one more small workout, and you get energized for the next 3 4 hours. Next, please. Uh, if you are going for a job and you are applying for it, first of all, I have got some tips. You, of course, I'm not going to give you any resume. You can go to Google and it's very easier to look at that. But what I'm saying is what will make the difference. First of all, your resume cannot be more than one page. Nobody reads beyond one page. If it is a two-page resume, only first page they read. Second page may you may writing something which is really great, but they won't read it. If covering letter is allowed, then add details. Don't put what is there in the resume again in the covering letter. Uh, do research potential employers. That means if I am going to join, say Accenture, then I will look at what is that is Accenture doing? Which all the areas they are doing work? Which area is it that I am interested? And I will do enough work on that area and try and understand what Accenture is doing in that area. So every employer to whom I apply, my biodata will be, my resume will be different. What I am going to do is when I'm doing, for example, career objective, we cut paste the same thing we use everywhere. Why can't we customize it to that employer? Why can't we customize it to what I want? So if I'm going to a organization which is a manufacturing organization, I can put, if I'm very good at systems and controls, I can fixate on that. My objective also can be little different. All the things I am putting in that resume about what I have done can be in the area of systems and processes. Say I'm very good at IT, forensics, then that point I have to focus on. Though I'm a chartered accountant, I can do many other jobs. I don't want to go for other jobs. I want forensic job in that organization. So I should then make my objective like that, because objective should be what I can do for the organization and not that I can earn good amount of money or I can get experience. While that's also should be a part, the learning in that organization should certainly be one of the objectives, but not the first three. First three have to be the client specific. What you can do for the client should be there. Then I will also get an opportunity to get excellent exposure, learning, etc. Other activities very important. For example, yesterday we had a Republic Day celebration in our apartment, and the person who was recognized was a person, Sohail, who has done the triathlon recently. Triathlon is, you swim for 10 kilometers in the ocean, and you cycle 180 kilometers, and you do some, I don't know, 20 or 30 kilometers running, and all within the day. This whole exercise is within one day, one after the other. So the person who was recognized yesterday, only one person was recognized, and it was this person who has done his triathlon, and he's some software. He works in some software organization. So the key question will be what you can do for the organization if you are making a resume. Even if you are going to make a resume to join Big Four, or you are making a resume to join our firm, it should be from objective of what you can do for our firm, not from your objective. Uh, you know, Writing from your objective is what everybody does, but this will differentiate you. Go to the next one. I think we are almost to the end. So I want each of you to put in the chat box. I'll give 3-4 minutes, and then we will go to question answer. And I also have a couple of one or two tools which I can demonstrate to you in case we have time. Um, Chinmaya, you can keep that emotional matrix ready so that in case we get time, we'll ask them, I'll explain to them what they can do. So the question which is there today for all of you, Chinmaya thought about this. I was just telling him in our office we are doing this. Then he said, "Sir, why don't you do it for other CS?" I don't know how many people finally joined here. Are there many?
Yeah, we have about 13 now, 13, 14.
Okay, good enough. In our office, we did this for about 6 a few days back, and I was just telling Chinmaya. Then he said, "Sir, why don't you do it for others outside your office?" So what I want you all to send share in the chat what I have learned today for growing in my academics. CA is not the end. CA is only the first step. What I have learned today for my growth in my career and practice. You can write that. Make it short. And remember, all CA, our career, practice, and all is only part of life. For my growth in my life itself, what I learned today. I hope that all these three areas I have addressed in some way. I might have gone a little faster. Normally, these type of sessions, if they are face to face, it's a classroom situation, and you got a little more time. Interaction happens at each stage. But here, since we are trying to capsule it, I have taken the liberty of talking. So please put in the chat, and after that, you can they speak, Chinmaya?
No, sir. They can only put in the chat option. They can type, and we can read and
Then you
answer.
can ask the questions also. First, you answer this because this is what you are giving me back. The feedback you give me is what I get, other than the opportunity to make a difference, which is a part of my life. What I will get from you is if you give me feedback on what you learned today, because it can I can focus on that little more when I take the next session for any chartered accountant. Have you recorded this session, Chinmaya?
It will be available on the YouTube, so anytime you can watch.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
it's
you
there.
can
Yeah,
send a thank you message where you can send the link to the recording and send it to me also, so I'll put in my LinkedIn.
sure, sure. We'll do that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
there was one person who asked some questions. So before I take questions, Clarison Cerro has asked a question, but I wait for all of you to put your comments in the chat. I would like to see that, and then we will take the questions. Please go ahead and put in the chat. Maybe you have to read it. Huh? I can't
Sure,
see.
sure. I'll read. You will not be able to see. I'm just playing
Okay,
from here,
okay.
so I'll read any questions comes.
Go to the next one also.
Sure.
The link to the Gmail ID is there. So this is my personal Gmail ID, not my office Gmail ID, which I only started this year. So if chat anybody has, first please give me the feedback, because without feedback, these type of sessions make no sense. What did you get? You can go back to that last slide so that they get the questions again. What I learned today. So three different things. Please put in the chat so that we can go further and take the questions which you have.
So there's no specific, what I've learned. I've not got chat, but I mean, one question answer is like, thank you for the session. And any specific qualities that you feel you have enabled yourself to become successful, which you have addressed
What
already,
is the
but
question part of it? I will take it only after feedback. No
sure.
feedback, no questions. Because very clear. If they have just sat there and not even got one of this, then today's session has been taken by a person who is useless. That is me. Supported by another useless person, Chinmaya Hegde.
Yes,
That is what you are telling us if you don't give us a
correct.
feedback on
Yeah,
these questions.
yeah. So that we request you, because the only expectation from our side would be that.
Correct.
Yes.
And there has to be some quid pro quo. You can't just come and take and take and take. One of the biggest qualities I learned is to answer the earlier question is to give. For 40, till the age of 42, I was only a taker in life. From 42, I became a giver, and giving has given me immense power. Give everywhere. I used to, even our professional secrets, I have shared openly with everybody. I have got, you know, I used to be the highest answering person in Central Excise and Service Tax for 10 years in the PDICI. I was number one in India. There are so many more questions in income tax and all, but I was number one in India for 4 5 years. Then, of course, I went to the council, and then many people overtook me.
Okay. So one of the common good phrase I've heard recently, that when you do any work or anything, don't try to think what you get rather than think what you become. If you on those lines you try to approach any activity,
Yes,
goal, the moment you try to think, no, I should become a better person, I think things will take its own course automatically. You will also get money, you'll also get fame, in the sense, uh, if you become of value, if you become of, I mean, whichever way you want to
correct.
project yourself, I think that
True.
would add value.
That's why in that when I have talked about goals, I've said, The why is very important. After that, what, how is, what type of being you should become. Then, of course, very important is what. Most of us start with what. When we
Correct.
think of goals, we say, okay, let me do
Hmm.
the following three things and my life will become good. It doesn't become like that. First, you have to get your why in place. And once you put why in place, Chinmaya, which I have
Correct.
told you earlier also,
Absolutely.
you never fail. There is no question of failure because you'll have 10 objectives
Yeah.
and you will have achieved at least three of them. So you're not failed. You have done at
Correct.
least those three.
Yeah, absolutely. The purpose is more bigger than any other we, or I mean we do it,
Let's
or
let's look at the feedback.
yeah. I'll let me read few. Like one is like believe in yourself, and be passionate when you do work,
Yeah, very
and
good.
whenever, yeah, and whichever area you do, you should be have a deeper learning rather than on a surface
Yes,
learning.
yes. Don't do superficial work because that is what is expected by most people. So if you have done in-depth work, then that can be the area which you'll expose so that they'll ask more questions and then you can show them how good you are in that area.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and Chaitanya is telling that he tried to put the list of achievements quickly and felt very good and very well joyous doing it. List of achievements is a good thing that is take
Yes,
away.
that's a tool
Yeah,
actually. It's a empowerment tool, basic empowerment tool. Chaitanya, no?
yeah,
Chaitanya, you can make it take 1 hour to do it. You did this just as we are speaking, not much time you got. But if you take one hour for achievements and joyous moments, that particular information you should put in a permanent diary. Every time you have a difficulty in your life, you can just open that.
yeah,
Just
definitely.
go through that and you are up. So it's a very, very good way of looking at it and also to arrive at your goal. Why do you want to do something you don't like? Better you do something you like, you enjoy, and you are good at if you can get that intersection. Very, very good thought process.
Point.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and Amrita was telling commitment is also important and continuous focus. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
There was one Clarison Cerro who had asked me some questions, but I don't know whether he's on the call.
Yeah. But anyway, like it is available later. So if somebody wants to,
We will go for the questions now, though everybody has not answered. So this is another very, what I would say, disappointing aspect. People want to be in the audience, and these are all professionals. At least I assume only professionals have joined. Being a professional, if you don't want to get onto the court, then you will be a clerk throughout your life. Sorry for being very straight. I am known to be straight. You will be a clerk throughout your life if you don't step forward. Being a chartered accountant clerk, it is better you are a passionate clerk rather than be a chartered accountant clerk. So the it is left to you, of course. So the question which was asked on the mail was, what are the common mistakes we make in practice? Common mistake is not to have our direction clear, not to have realistic way of looking at the area, which area you're going to do. Many people think we will just get in, first let me earn money, then I will see. This earning money is a very stupid way of starting. You take whatever low hanging apples are there, 99 other people who are in practice also are looking at the low hanging apples. And you struggle and fight with them, and you feel very bad if one client doesn't come to you. You are less satisfied. So, first make yourself capable. Even if you are going for a career, look at what all we have told you today. If required 2 years, you delay. Nowadays, chartered accountants, many chartered accountants get through fast. At the age of 20, 21, 22, they are already CS. So spend 2 more years in your or in that organization where you are, or join an organization, again another professional organization which is doing the area you like to do or you think you like to do. For example, investment banking could be there, or say you have done in direct tax all your life, company law, maybe indirect tax firm you'll join. So you get the experience of the areas which you want to focus on and become specialized in. You might like to get into forensics, data analysis, get into such firms and continue, because that is the area where you are going to learn. Once you're in a regular job, then you may not have time to work on your attitudes, work on your skills, do additional courses, maybe even additional, like if you want to do MBA or you want to go through, national law school. These are all combinations which are fantastic for a CA. So, but that you require time. So, therefore, don't jump in. That is the second mistake people make. Third is, I want to join a MNC company. Good. I want to be CFO of a well recognized MNC company is a good goal. But you can't just go. First, why you want to do that? What type of person you have to be? You have to be disciplined. You have to be knowledge hungry. You have to be skilled. All this you may have to make what type of being you have to be, and then put all the actual to dos. And then after you do that for 2 years, then only go for your MNC, company. One of the other ways of doing it is, if you have just got a broad idea that I should join MNC, then you can join the Big Four, because from Big Four to join MNCs are relatively easier. But you may have to put a time for learning. In MNC companies, you don't learn much, except how to get along with the boys and girls there, depending on who you are. Interpersonal and social engagements, communication, certainly you'll improve. Uh, I've seen that the training is only focused to your job. It's not general training, and therefore you may not grow in the attitudes which you may like to do offline. Udemy is a good area where you can learn. So common mistake is that we jump into the job and don't build our attitude, don't build our skill, don't build our knowledge, don't build our experience. For example, if you want to go to get into GST litigation, which is a wonderful area for the next 15 years, then you should join a GST firm and don't join any area, either get into the consultancy side or get into the litigation, so that you learn many things they would have be doing after fine tuning it over 10 years, 15 years. So you can get all that knowledge and IP before you start. uh, area which I made a mistake was I was focusing on money also in the starting of my practice, and that did not work. When I defocused from the money, I got money also. In these late years of my life, like last year, my earning must have been 23, 24. Uh, my earning must be in excess of 2 crores. And I might have gone 5 times to my office and attended maybe about 20 meetings of 2 hours each. That's it. But I earned more than 2 crores. Other than that, I'm earning also. That's a different matter. So money will come provided you make yourself capable and prove that you service is above the money. What are the common mistakes could be? I started, in my first practice area, I started in a very small office because I didn't have money. So, but I was ashamed to take anybody to my office. First of all, it was on the third floor in Malleshwaram. The room was uh, smaller than the toilet which I have, which is attached to my bedroom today. And it was absolutely nothing. There was one old broken down table with, so many things, nails and all put in place. So it was 2 years of my initial practice time I wasted because I did not go with good infrastructure. I took a sorry figure if a client wants to come. Then, of course, I did something which was immediately much better. I went to BDA complex, Koromangala, not Koromangala, Indiranagar, and I could get a cheaper place, and it was already furnished. So it was, I was lucky maybe. Then, of course, now we have maybe around 60,000 square feet is the total area from where we serve in different parts of India. Some of it I thought I will share. Any other? There was one more question, no? That
Yeah, sure. I'll read out. I just share my one quick experience now. From this session which I take for my classes is taking feedback. I think that is a very good exercise I should implement myself. When I take classes, I think at the end of every session, I was not doing it so far. I think I'll do it going forward. That is, what did you learn? Ultimately, we have spent some time, and what do we learn after that? I make a commitment myself that I'll be doing that. And second thing, you always try to, this will not only for your professional life, but anywhere, how you can expect something before it happens, if you are ready with it. Like, sir, shared this PPT to me before starting of the session, and while sharing he could not do it, and it was already with me. So had he not thought, then he would have sent it later, then I have to download. You can see now things went so smoothly because that 2-minute thought he had it earlier. So I would request you also, when you make a decision about any activity or any service you do, have few little bit of thought prior to that, so that if something happens, you're already ready with it, because things will go wrong. You cannot say that however good you are, things will not be 100%. But interesting part is always when things go wrong, what do you do with that? Or when challenge comes, how do you face it? I just wanted to cover that point. And one point I was asking is like, how do you manage stress, either in employment or practice or anywhere? Like any guidelines on that?
Okay. Yeah. I will give you a quick fix solution, and I will also ask Chinmaya to share that Excel emotional matrix, the blank Excel. You can share with again on YouTube, not here. I don't want you to share it here.
Okay, I will share.
So, so I have, one is list of achievements, one is list of joyous moments. Third is this Excel, which is called emotional self-evaluation of your emotional matrix. So the question was, how do I manage with stress? Stress is a limiting emotion, and many of us have stress. Doing CA also is a big stress. After that is what do I do is a stress. So managing stress is something which you can do, or you can change your thoughts and beliefs and get rid of stress itself. I got rid of stress again at the age of 42. Till then, I was a stressed guy and very difficult. When I'm stressed, I won't listen to reason. I cannot think clearly. I always have negative thoughts. So, if I have to look at stress in 5 steps, first I will look at what exactly is my understanding of stress. Do I understand what really stress is? Go to the dictionary meaning, go to Wikipedia, understand whether my stress is the same stress as everybody is having. This is for step one. Step two, I will look at whether I am all stressed all the time. Is it permanent? Throughout my life, it's going to be there. The answer will be no. Is it pervasive? Is it there all the time? When I'm with my friends, I'm not stressed. When I'm playing some games, I'm not stressed. So it's not pervasive. Is it personal to me? Half the world is in stress. So it is not. So three P's. Is it permanent? Is it pervasive? Is it personal? So if the answer to all this is no, then the next issue is, because I am stressed, how does it impact different sectors? For example, if I am stressed, what happens to my parents? What happens to my friends? What is the impact on my friends? What is the impact in office? What is the impact on my boss? What is going to be the impact on my practice if I'm stressed? Then what is happening if once I am stressed? What is happening to me? Very important. What is the impact on me when I'm stressed? Why is this done? This is done so that you actually sit and write it down. And once you have written all these, why I'm stressed, 5 reasons say why I'm stressed, and then you put, for because I'm stressed, what is the impact on people, you come to a point where you know that it is not managing stress, you have to get rid of stress. Before the age of 42, I already had heart attack because I was in those stress periods and I had not achieved anything at that time. Then I had a back problem, which also is caused by stress. I had a slip disc, I had prolapse, my back went for a toss. So once I got rid of stress, then life actually started. So very, very important question asked was how I do this. Next, I will look at. So we got through step one is understanding the question, that emotion. Second is whether the three P's are there. Third was awareness of the impact on different sectors who are all around me, my friends, relatives, family, neighbors, maybe professional colleagues, and of course, the last one who is most important is me. What is the impact on me? So once you know all this is there, then look at what are the triggers. Note down what are the triggers which lead to stress in you. Note down 10 things. So this particular tool, which I have told you, is how you can overcome limitations. After you have noted the triggers, now if you know what are your triggers for stress, then whenever the trigger comes, you know I am going to get stress. So you can get rid of the trigger itself or manage the trigger. Do some deep breathing, take a walk, close your eyes. Whatever your method of dealing with, stress is going to come. Once stress comes, it's very difficult to deal with it. So why don't I avoid it itself? So these are the triggers. This is awareness of triggers. Then next is what is the alternative way of being? Being means, for example, if I'm stressed, uh, maybe I have to ensure that I manage my time well. Time management may be my issue. You know, being productive may be my issue. So what is it that I can go to? Being calm, stoic, stoic. Like I'm supposed to be a stoic person. I don't get ruffled by anything. Whatever happens in office, once I had around 6 or 7 of my partners threatening to leave, so I didn't do anything much. I told them to speak to me, speak to each other. Finally I had a talk with them, called all the partners. People thought we are dividing the firm. That is, we are going to close the firm and divide it amongst all the locations. But what happened at the end of it is nothing much. After that, we started another two branches. So this is called uh, because for me, it actually didn't make a difference whether the firm is going to disintegrate, not integrate. Of course, when we are building some institution, you always have a sort of a desire that, okay, let it be something big. So stress, I think I have dealt with quite comprehensively. Sometimes just being calm. So if you know that it is that, for example, I come to a point that being well prepared and calm. If I'm well prepared and calm, stress will not come to me. Then I have to look at how I can be well prepared. Go to Google. How can I be better prepared? How can I be calm? If you put in Google, it will give you some thought. So then you come to what you have to do. Very, very important aspect, which actually Chinmaya demonstrated. He said he learned something, and he also said one more thing, that in his next session, when he teaches, he is going to implement it. So, what you do is most important. Having gyan of what you can do is not that important. Today, I gave you a lot of gyan. Only whatever you have now decided to do is your takeaway. Otherwise, 90% of you who just heard me, it is a total waste of your time. It's a total waste of your time. Let me tell you. You think gyan is good? It's of useless. Even the fellows who's sitting on the wayside begging for money has gyan. Don't think he doesn't have gyan. He knows many options which you don't know. But he will remain a beggar because he will not take action. Taking action is making the difference. Any other question?
Yeah, one slight different question. The person is CMA. So it is scope specifically for CMA versus CA. The person is doing CMA, like
Doesn't
CA.
matter. Doesn't matter. See, CMA also is a stepping stone. I would say that it depends on where he wants to do, what he wants to do. He should first set his goals. Now, setting goals also, if you go to the Google, there are lots of things. And if any one of you wants specific advice on setting your goals, you can write to either Chinmaya or me. Chinmaya can share what I have shared with him, or you can write to me and I will share you some templates. You can set your goals.
Yeah, sure. I think that would be the list of questions.
Okay. Then
Okay.
thanks a lot. Thanks, Chinmaya, for enabling this for whatever the number of people who joined.
Sure.
And I hope that you have a wonderful career. Be a great citizen of India. Contribute to the country. See how you can serve this wonderful country. And let me tell you, no service goes unrewarded. You will get name, fame, money. All three you will get. All the best.
Yeah.
Bye. I
Thanks,
have
sir.
to join the other
Sure.
office EC meeting.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you for your time, because I think that is the part of life. We can give it to somebody else and things will not come back, and that is time. And I sincerely thank you for that. And again, at the same point, I also thank the people who had spent the time to listen all these things and to make better use of it and to make the best use of it. I would require you to put it into use, apply it, and during that process, if you need any kind of support, please do write back to us. So thank you for your time. See you, sir.
Bye.
Bye bye. See you.
So you are going to share that link, recorded link and all.
Yes, I'll share it. I'll share it. Yes.
Bye. Bye.
Yes. Yes. Yes.